3 weeks.
Was it 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Oh, mashallah. All right. So we have about 4 sessions and 4 female Sahaba, yes?
We have 3 more sessions for December.
Oh, so this coming week is the only session in November. Is that what you say?
Yeah, but we will have off for next week, and then there will be December.
Oh, the following Wednesday is not going to be in November, huh?
No, the following is November, but we will have off next week.
Yeah, I understand that. I was just thinking that there is only one more Wednesday in November, which is the 25th.
Yeah.
After that, it is December 2nd, 9, and 16, right?
16, yeah, yeah.
So we'll have 3 female Sahaba in it.
Yes.
Inshallah, anybody who have a question, please jump in, If you have a question, please, unmute yourself and say your question. Meanwhile, we are talking about what we have in the next year, inshallah. Inshallah, our graduation will be on December 18. December 18 is a Friday night. It's going to be on Zoom because, the COVID-19 thing is getting worse. I was hoping that we can do in the masjid a limited number, and we live stream it, but unfortunately it's not going to be happening. So it's going to be Zoom and live streamed on Facebook and YouTube and all that. So would you share, please, Sister Kalsoom, the format of the certificates and all that? Are you there?
I'm still preparing it. What we will have is we will give certificates of completions and certificates of attendance. So the certificates of completion is those who attend most of it. And attendance
most of it, like 80% or more.
Yeah.
And 75 to 80% or more. So if we have, for example, like 10, if we did 10 courses, whoever attended 7 or 8 get a certificate of completion on the condition, inshallah, that you listen to all the classes. And this is easy. You can start actually doing it right now. You can download all the sessions before. And Sister Kalsoom can send you all the list, and Sister Siti can give you the link. They are on my YouTube channel, and you can see them by playlist, like the World of Jinn and Shayateen, like the major signs, minor signs, major signs of the Day of Judgment, the Ideal Muslima. I think that was the first one that we formally did for this series. Hold on, Sim, hold on. Okay, here we go. And so, those classes, if Sister Kalsoom can kindly give a list to all the sisters who are listening to us right now. And please take it upon yourself. You have like 1 month. If you listen to like 1 hour every day or 1.5 hours every day, I think you'll be able to make up all what you did not do. So Sister Kulsum can send a list. If anything you attended, skip it. If you see anything you did not attend, so please mark it. And then, go to my YouTube channel. Sister City can post it on the chat right now, the link to my YouTube channel. And then you will go there, playlist, subscribe, of course, and press notification and all that. You know the drill. And then, you'll see if any update. Like Sister City just uploaded the Works of the Heart series, and listen to them, take your notes and stuff, and I'll take your word for it. We'll deal with honesty here. That you listen to those, then send Sister Kulsum the list of what you listen to. So you get a certificate of the completion of a 2-year program. We'll give you a certificate from IGH, Masjid Salam will be both there on the certificate, and then certificate of completion, it will be Salam Sisters Mentorship Program. So you'll have a certificate that you attended a 2-year leadership mentorship program, and you are qualified to teach those subjects. Is that clear for everybody, inshallah? Okay, so yeah, this is that.
Sheikh Mamdouh,
Naam.
as we listen through the classes that we have missed, can we come back to you for questions?
Of course, absolutely.
So
That's the whole idea, Yani. You can post your questions here, or you can send them to me on my masjid email, which is scholar.champions@isgh.org.
okay, Jazakallah.
Scholar.champions with S at isgh.org. So you send me any question on that email, which is my masjid email. I respond to all the questions and queries there. So please, any question that you have, send it to me via email or forward it to Sister Kulsum and she will give it to me. But, shooting it at Scholar will be better and faster. And then just let me know somehow that you listened and you benefited something of it. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, Sister Hiba.
Sheikh Mamdouh, I have a question, if I may ask.
Faddal, go ahead.
This is like a main concern in our Muslim community. A lot of youth go through depression and psychological problem, and some of them commit suicide. Right. So one committed suicide last week, was 18, 19 years old, and somebody asked me, would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive him because he was under depression and he was getting treatment by doctor. So I didn't know what to tell her. I tell her, I don't know, what state of mind he's in and what he goes through, because this is like a big problem we're facing like all the time with a lot of teenager and youth.
So, if you remember last time we talked about, were you there last week, Hib?
No, I missed because I had a doctor appointment. Yes.
Yeah. What I was saying last week is that whenever a question comes, we kind of have to decide where is the issue, right? Yes. So the issue here is two-sided. Number one, what is the ahkam of the dunya, and what are the ahkam of the akhirah? Of a person man qatala nafsahu, right? Yes. The person who killed himself. Committing suicide, it is not something new. Huh? Yes. Yes. Someone committed suicide at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mafhum? Yes. Somebody committed suicide at the time of the Prophet when he يعني in the battle, was
yes.
injured, and then he killed himself. يعني he could not be patient with the pain, so he put the sword on, he put the handle of the sword on the ground, and then the tip of the sword on his chest, and then he leaned on it. So he killed himself. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يعني من تجرع سما فهو يتجرعه في جهنم خالدا مخلدا فيها أبدا. يعني من تحسى سما فقتل نفسه فسمه في يده يتحساه في نار جهنم خالدا مخلدا فيها أبدا. من قتل نفسه بحديدة فحديدته في يده يجأ بها في بطنه في نار جهنم خالدا مخلدا فيها أبدا. من تردى من جبل فقد قتل نفسه كذلك يعني فهو في نار. ومن قتل نفسه بشيء في الدنيا عذب به يوم القيامة. وكان في من كان قبلكم رجل به جرح فجازع فأخذ سكينا فحز بها يده فما رقى الدم حتى مات. فقال الله تعالى بدرني عبدي بنفسي حرمت عليه الجنة. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ترك الصلاة على المنتحر عقوبة له وزجرا لغيره وأذن للناس أن يصلوا عليه. ماشي. وأتي النبي برجل قتل نفسه بمشاقص بالمقصات يعني فلم يصلي عليه أو سهام عراض يعني. يعني the hadith I just mentioned is that the Prophet ﷺ said, people before you, one person cut his veins يعني in his wrist, like people do now, commit suicide. So it's even before, يعني thousands of years before. And the blood he kept bleeding until he died. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said, my servant took his own life and I will prohibit Jannah for him. And people committed that, and the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever drank poison and died, he will be drinking it in Jahannam forever. And whoever killed himself with the iron will be there stabbing himself in Jahannam forever, and so on. And whoever killed himself with something, he will be punished with it in the Day of Judgment. طيب. But people brought a person who killed himself with a wide-edged arrows, and he killed himself. So Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not pray on him, but he asked everybody to pray on him. فأهل العلم, يعني people of knowledge, said that the people of knowledge or the leaders should avoid praying on someone like that. But he gives permission that people, it's a major sin, يعني it will not be like kufr. So we wash his body, we shroud him in the coffin, and we pray janazah on him, and we bury him in maqabr al-Muslimin. يعني there is no problem, but the leadership and the people and all of that. طيب. يعني all of this does not mean when somebody commits suicide, we do not make forgiveness for them. We should ask Allah to forgive them, right? Yes. Because we do not know the state of mind that they were in. Yes. Even if they kill themselves without a disease. And I'm coming to that point in a minute.
Right.
So الانتحار or committing suicide ليس كفرا مخرجا من الملة. It is not a kufr that takes the person out of Islam like many people think, but it is a major sin, as I mentioned. Whoever died insisting on a major sin هو في مشيئة الله. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. So he is in the will of Allah. Whoever died committing a major sin or committed a major sin and did not repent from it, or died with a major sin, يعني somebody died while he's committing zina, or somebody died while they are drinking, or somebody killed himself, all this كبائر الذنوب did not make tawbah before their death. يعني the sin killed them. يعني somebody overdosed in drugs يعني مثلا. They are not trying to kill themselves, right? But they overdosed and they died. They overdrunk and they OD'd and died يعني from the drinking or from anything. So they are not intentionally committing suicide, but they ended up dying, or intentionally committing suicide. All of this would be in the mashia of Allah. He can forgive them or he can punish them. So based on that, we make dua because they actually need it. Make dua يعني اللهم اغفر له ذنبه وارحمه وعافيه وعفو عنه وتوله يعني حط عنه خطيئته هكذا يعني we make dua for them and all that. But we cannot say Allah forgive him or not. نقول هو في مشيئة الله.
Yeah.
ماشي؟ نقول هو في مشيئة. All of this, هبة, all of this for someone who are in their good state of mind.
Yes.
يعني all what I said now is somebody who is in a good state of mind and did it. And that's من جهل الناس, from the ignorance of the people, that somebody commits suicide means he died as a kafir. يعني. That's not true.
Yeah.
Okay. But if a person has a psychological problem or a mental problem, and they are under medication and they are not responsible 100% of their acts, لا هذا يعني إن شاء الله نرجو أن يكون مغفورا له. يعني we hope that, but we cannot نقطع بذلك. يعني we cannot precisely say he is forgiven because of. لأن mental diseases or psychological diseases, they are not as clear as physical diseases.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody died of cancer or died of you know, another chronic disease or an infection or COVID-19 or whatever, this is a clear sign. You know, this is a clear physical thing, but you do not know what is happening inside the mind of somebody. You don't know. So maybe he was under influence, but at the moment of death, he knew exactly what he's doing, and maybe vice versa, right?
Yeah.
That he was in a good state of mind, and the minute they killed themselves, they were delusional or they have a problem. But that's why we don't know, يعني, for sure. Okay? So we have to say, inshallah, يعني هو في مشيئة الله, he is in the will of Allah, and we pray that Allah forgive him.
Okay.
وضحت؟
أيوة وضحت. Yeah.
So خلاصة يعني killing oneself is a major sin, does not make the person kafir. We do all the أحكام of the dunya, غسل والكفن وصلاة الجنازة و burying in the مقابر المسلمين. ده أحكام الدنيا. The people of knowledge and the people of هيئة, يعني those who have status in the community, should avoid praying janaza on that person. So it can be a lesson for people, right?
Right.
Not demeaning them or anything like that, but they should avoid it. يعني. That is the أحكام of the dunya. أحكام of the آخرة, as I said, it's a major sin. So هو في مشيئة الله عز وجل. It is in the will of Allah, can forgive him or punish him, and then he enters Jannah at the end. We make dua for them, yes. We make dua for them, بس لا نقطع. يعني we cannot say, لا نقطع لأحد أصلا. يعني
we can't do it for everyone.
For anybody, you know,
yes.
cannot say this person is shaheed and this person. We are not Allah عز وجل to decide where, يعني, right?
Yes.
فنقول هو في رحمة الله. ندعو الله له بالرحمة والمغفرة والغفران, والله عز وجل forgive him for what he did. That's it.
Yes. Okay. جزاكم الله خير. Yes.
الله يبارك فيك. Anybody else have a question? Type suggestions also, يعني either a question or a suggestion for courses of the next 2 years. هو next year maybe, يعني only, because I want this class to go more advanced, but I want to take a new batch of sisters to attend completely new stuff than what we studied. We're not going to repeat that. So this class will be there in the recording, but the new year will have a different type of class, like another set of stuff. So you give me suggestion. We have 2 tracks. One, we go by subject from Quran. We go by subject like we did, for example, the work of the hearts. Then we start talking about it from Quran and from Sunnah and from the opinions and from psychological perspective and from current perspective, relevance and all that. That's one track, one way, one way to do things, to choose a topic and then cover it from all aspects. The other track is to choose a subject matter or to choose a surah of the Quran or a section of ahadith, and we explain them analytically. That will open different subject matters. So either we are confined to a subject matter and we bring all the dalil and all the supporting evidence from the Quran and Sunnah and the fiqh and all of that and related, or we take a surah, for example, and analytically studying it which is going to bring many subject matters. There is, of course, a theme of the surah, and there are objectives of the surah and different subjects. Hadith also, we pick a section from a book of Hadith, Bukhari or Muslim or Tirmidhi or something like that, and we study it. So, you know, and we can do a hybrid of both at the same time. So what would be things that you would like to study?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. It's
Salam.
Maimuna. I was listening to the beautiful names lectures, and in it you were suggesting the 5 years plan, year 1, year 2, what to do for the 5 years, and by the time you finish the 5 years, then you should have enough to start when what you say talking to the public. So my question is, how do I know that I've reached the qualified, you know, that it's enough? So for example, year 1, concentrate on the tajweed.
I tell you that you have reached, and you go ahead. Because,
okay,
you
so
know,
that's what I meant.
If you leave it to yourself, you will never feel that you reached.
Well, that's what I meant. So are you planning to have, like, do we come to you and say we want to do the 5 years plan, and then you laid out to cover this, and here's the test mark, the benchmark, if you like that? So is that like an individual?
See, you already did let's say that you already did 2 years, right? So you kind of need 2 more. I mean 3 more. I'm sorry. So 2 more. This is the program we're going to do, building on the 2 years that you have. And then we can have a 1 year at the end, which is in-depth advance, the graduation mark for you to do things. But it doesn't mean that you don't teach now. Actually, teaching is part of making sure that you know. Until now, I open up subjects and I learn a lot while I'm preparing for it. You see what I'm saying? So if I say I don't know this, or I don't have enough knowledge, I will never become a better teacher, right? So I open a subject and we talk about depression, for example. I did not study like depression from a psychiatric perspective, but I can understand what it is. I can ask professionals to explain it to me from a clinical perspective, right? And then I go and relate that to my information in Islam. This is a new knowledge for me. You see? Then, you know, I keep going on that. So teaching is actually a way of learning.
Right.
Okay.
But how do you know I'm qualified? Like,
you are.
Did I pass the test?
All those who have been studying with me forever since 2009, they are qualified.
I guess
they are afraid. That's it. You are afraid. That's all.
Is there? I was trying to see, like, for example, like tajweed, right? We studied with you before and stuff. So yes, I went to class, I sat in class, but like, is there like an exam or something that you give us that I feel like, okay, if I know all these questions you asked me and I pass, quote unquote, your test, then I can move on to the next stage.
Okay,
if not,
this is
I
a
need
very
to
good.
review.
I get it. This is a very good question, Sister Maimuna. Why? Because tajweed is more of a practical science. It is not a theoretical science. When you teach tafsir, you just talk, right? You are talking about the opinions of people and you are relaying the message. So you're not doing much effort here in tafsir and hadith. But tajweed, you already have to have a practical mastery of it to teach it to others. So I agree with you. A science like tajweed, there has to be some oral exam with a written exam for you to teach, right? Because, for you to read, still always there will be an area for improvement, right? An area for improvement, because there is no harm done to anybody. It is you and only you. So you are learning. Some of you, they are like 70%, some of you 80, some of you 90, some of you 99, meshi. But for you. But when you want to go and teach, then you need to get a certification in tajweed. That's a specific ijazah in tajweed to go and teach. Sometimes I said, يَقْرَأُ لِنَفْسِهِ. يعني that person can recite for himself or for herself. But يقرأ ويقرأ يعني and teach others, that is the إجازة to teach. في التجويد بالذات يعني when you come to Quran, specifically Quran, the orally performed science, then yeah, يعني الحديث is different. If you memorize the hadith and you don't pronounce it right, it doesn't matter, you know, because the hadith is not to be memorized and recited in a certain way, but Quran has to be recited in a certain way. Are you with me? You understand the point I'm trying to make here? Sister member?
Yes.
Okay. So tajweed, well, the Quran, يعني performing the Quran, uttering the Quran, and the qira'at and all of that, anything that you have to do, then you have to have a special ijaza to give it to others. Unless you master it, you cannot give it to others. Okay? I can tell you, for example, teach them the qaida, the alif ba, alif fatha a, alif kasra e, that. But the recitation itself, I'll tell you, teach beginner, for example, but don't teach advanced student. Okay?
Okay.
Because you cannot have a student who recites better than you, then it becomes a problem, or a student who recited less than you and they learn something wrong. Okay?
Right.
But in other sciences, ما في مشكلة. أصل في فرق بين التحمل والأداء. يعني there is a difference between carrying something and delivering something. You carry as much knowledge as you want. There is no problem. I said that person carried that knowledge from me. It's okay. But for them to deliver it, then there are more lax sciences than others. So if you are going to do the tafsir, you're basically reading. You're not doing tafsir yourself. I'm not mamduh saying that my opinion in tafsir is this. I'm saying that the mufassirin said this. So you and me and everybody can do that. As long as you have a book in front of you, there is no issue, yeah, right? But in hadith is the same thing. In fiqh, even same thing, as long as you know the ahkam. And whenever you have an issue, you can always tell the students, give me some time and I will get that question for you. You ask somebody more knowledgeable than you go search it and no problem. But when it comes to the recitation of the Quran, then you have to stop and seek a specific ijazah in that. But this doesn't apply across the board.
Okay, thank you.
So if I give you ijazah in the course that you studied, I don't have to measure your information, you know, because, you know, when you know the work of the heart, you got the concept and you have a material. You can listen to my lecture and take notes and then go deliver it. It's not a big deal, you know. And it's not a big deal. That's what I do sometimes. I go and listen to Sheikh Salah's lectures and I get all these jewels out of it that I do not know. And then, you know, I write them down and then I deliver my subject matter and put those jewels in the crown. So now it means different. So you take from the scholars and you add your signature to it. And I'm sure each one of you have a different signature, you know, and a different audience, whether you are teaching children or teaching teenagers or teaching adults or teaching seniors, Muslims and non-Muslims, it will always different. So you have to start teaching to develop that signature and talk. You know, even if you are driving your car, try to pick a subject in your mind and talk. Talk to your children who are riding behind you in the car or to yourself. You know, see how many minutes that you can express that topic of your head. And then that will give you a gauge, like how much you need to read. You need points, flashcards in front of you or not. Yeah, but you have to start somewhere. All right? So for tajweed, we'll talk about it, inshallah. But
Inshallah.
in all these courses that we studied in Masjid Salam, you are able to teach it. And I'm advising each and every one of you, start teaching it. And don't be afraid how good or bad you'll be. You will be better. So let's work for better. Because they said that the only enemy of better is good, right? So you will be better. So this is, you have to keep going. And over time, you will see what you'll be missing. Because teaching actually makes you seek more knowledge. Because you don't want to repeat yourself. You don't want to be redundant. Okay? So,
Sheikh, I have a suggestion, please.
Sure.
Regarding what we talk about, what you talked about last week, I find that there's not many classes that offered what you were talking about last week in terms of the art of listening and psychology behind, how we give people nasiha.
Now,
And if I would be very appreciative if maybe that could be a course by itself for next year, inshallah.
okay, I have this book here. I'm teaching to a group of youth. You see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can you
we
read
see.
it, or it is coming, because I can see it opposite. I can see it like backwards. Okay, is it coming?
Yeah,
Okay?
coaching and mentoring skills.
Right.
Yes.
So that's one book, and there is another one, which is this book here.
Yeah, teacher
Okay.
mentoring and induction. Yeah.
Right. So those two books, I found that they are like a manual for anybody who wants to not teach. For me, teaching is not the issue anymore. I don't consider myself a teacher anymore. I consider myself like a mentor, right? Because mentor develop more personal relationship, and it is a kind of a holistic idea, because you see what kind of people you're teaching, what those people need, how much dedicated they are, what are their flaws, what are their assets. And then you start giving them the information based on all of that, and you give them a life skill. You do not give them some information. You understand? That's why anybody who attend my class and do not know that, or do not know me, they will think I digress. I go here and there and all over the place, okay? But I'm not teaching. I'm not actually teaching you. I want you to get the idea. Like last time, what is the main idea? You said how to criticize, critically think, right? Right? So this is what it is. And then those information, they will be stored in the back of your head. You'll never forget them, but they are stored. They will come up maybe 5 years from now when a situation comes, right? Or tomorrow,
Yes.
or next week. You said, that's what I studied, yeah? So that's basically what mentorship is. And there's a
Yes.
difference between coaching and mentorship. Yani a coach, not necessarily a master of what he's coaching. Coach is more of a motivator. That's why you will find some personal trainer, but they're out of shape. Some people kind of laugh at that, but that's not a subject of laugh. He is good in what he does, not necessarily he's applying himself. You understand? So a coach, he's not playing football with the team. He's big and he's old and all that. But what he's doing, he knows how to get them to use what they have to achieve the goal they want. That's a coach. Now, a mentor is more of a lifelong skill. You mentor someone, it is like someone have to, like Rasulullah ﷺ was a mentor. Like he is mentoring the Sahaba how to be teachers when he is gone. Okay, so that's more of a mentor. A mentor also has to have an age privilege, like higher and older, has to be someone who knows in depth of what he's talking about. He's practicing what he's doing. So mentor is different. Mentor, a football player, but he takes a younger one to play. So he is in the top of his game, but he is doing that. But coach can be a retired guy, 80 years old, but he's telling people what to do. I hope you understand. This is just the surface, but that course is all about that. So I can teach you. I can teach you a course and put Islamic perspective in it. It will be more like a college level class. It's not Islamic class, but that can be one. So I'm going to write a course in coaching and mentorship.
Yeah,
that be
sure.
okay
I
with
understand
everybody?
that because all these years,
Uh-huh.
inshallah. Sure, because you've for the last few years you've always told us the same thing over and over again, and you always said, whatever happens or whenever we are in a situation of anything, first and foremost, we always gather information, but we don't say out loud that we have to think about the bigger picture, because there's always a bigger picture in every situation. So I guess what I'm trying to say right now is that maybe you can walk us more into that steps towards that bigger picture.
Okay, I see what you're
I
saying.
mean,
And this will be,
okay.
I understand. This will be the coaching and mentorship class.
Say,
All of that,
along,
how to decide what you need to mentor people about, what you need to coach them for, how you do it, how you relate it to their life, how you see the bigger picture of things. This is that course. And yeah, so that's that course. Who else wants to suggest something?
Shay, along with that, this theme, I was maybe you can put together like a case study type where you present us with a case, and then in the class we would go through how we would go through the
Solve it.
case and advise whoever, just like a case study type format, inshallah.
Yeah, still we are with that course. Yeah,
I'm sorry?
that course has role playing and case studies and all of that. The mentorship, yeah,
Yes.
the class will do a type of workshop at certain parts of the course where one will become the mentor and one will become the protege or the apprentice, and you switch roles, okay? And some of you will have to come and give a lecture to the class and say, you know, I have that case and I'm mentoring and all of that. Well, there is no case, but you do that. And after the course, part of the follow-up is that you actually in life, you decide that you are going to coach or mentor someone based on your preference. And then, you know, you will have a chart and you will have a follow-up system that you kind of keep a log that you are mentoring someone, and that's what happens over 6 months, over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, quarterly. And so, and I can help you with that, inshallah. No problem at all.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you so much, Sheikh Mamdouh, for opening the floor to questions and inquiring about what we might need as women to better empower ourselves as far as knowledge in Islam is concerned. I feel like as bedrock of the families and the backbone of our families, we need to be able to learn about themes in our deen that's relatable to today and present day situations, that's practicable for not only ourselves, but also our children and future generations of Islam. So when you had suggested earlier, maybe talking about surahs, taking each surah and going into depth with the explanation of the surah, and you know, there might be concepts in each surah that there is a message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to relate to us as human beings that we can learn and also use to help us get through our day-to-day struggles and challenges in today's world.
I agree. So this can be a course, but we have to be more specific. Like, you know, because if we say, see, one of the issues, like whenever you are writing a thesis, for example, to master's or PhD, you have to be as specific as you can. And then you take that subject, now you can open it up, but you are in control. Instead of bringing like a whole big idea and trying to squeeze it in. You see the difference? So how can we become better Muslims? That's a huge thing, you know? That's the whole deen of Islam. What you exactly want to talk about, right? So then you say, how can I fix my heart? Then now we are talking about the hearts, and we can expand and come back and expand and come back, but we have a clear vision and a confined topic. So I can go off and on, but I'm right here. Instead of saying, how can we relate to our life in the United States and raise a Muslim family in America? Well, you have to live Islam and tell me what are the challenges. So now you can say that, what are the challenges facing Muslim in America? Still, it's a huge subject. Then you come, what are the challenges facing women in America? What the challenges are facing hijabi women in America? What are the challenges facing single moms in America? You understand me now? So
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So if I say the challenges facing single mom in America, then I will have to say the female in Islam, right? Practicing Muslim in Islam, single mom, and why the divorce is, and I go from there. So if you can come up with like a specific list like that, and I can actually categorize them, like, because always you can find relationship between topics. So if you bring some topics and say, those are relevant topics and the practical issues that facing me as a mother, as a wife, as a female, as a Muslim in the United States, in this time, this age, problems with the general society, problems with my family, problems with my, not problems means major issues. I mean, challenges, let's call them challenges. Challenges with the larger society, challenges with the Muslim society, challenges with the masjid people, challenges with the youth, challenges with my own children. And we categorize them like that. And under each one, we can write the issue. There will be some challenges that all of them share. Some of the challenges more one shared. Some of the challenges is pertinent to certain category. And then we pick from them. I think that would be, I think, you tell me what you'd like to do, and I will help you. And that's basically coaching. Like basically
Yes,
I'm coaching
well,
you.
mashallah,
Right now.
most of the sisters in the group, and I do attend the class off and on as my work schedule permits. And most of the sisters in the group are probably in advanced classes in your class, and they're interested in advancing into different levels, which I feel like, there could be classes that's tailored to them, but to address the challenges or improve or increase the knowledge of the majority of the sisters in the community. I am in my 50s, and a lot of the sisters are probably in the same category in this group, but there are younger and upcoming sisters that are just got married, just starting families, and they're trying to, and I can also say that most of the people probably in this group were not necessarily brought up and raised in America. So alhamdulillah, we have a different sense of discipline and approach to Islam versus our kids that we have here. So how do we help them in this society that they were born and raised to be better spouses, better mothers, and inshallah ta'ala, raise up better kids also, Islamically, from an Islamic perspective.
I'll tell you the problem. I'll tell you the problem facing what you just said, and you will know the answer. How about that?
Yes.
Okay. So what you are saying now, let me paraphrase that, right? And you agree or disagree. Let me paraphrase what you're just saying. Is there a way that teaches us as Muslims to be effective mothers, fathers, teachers to our children, to our friends and everything in an Islamic manner in this time and age?
Yes.
Did I paraphrase it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, logically, this is not impossible. Correct? Logically, this is not impossible. Always there is a way to teach something. Yes? So logically, it's not impossible. Islamically, it is not impossible either. Why? Because Islam came to teach people to do the things that Allah wants. There is no time or place restriction. Okay? So until here, so far, so good, right? So why you are not able to do it in the United States? I'm asking
Why I'm not able to
question.
do in the United States, just like I said, I grew up in Nigeria, where alhamdulillah, my deen is pretty much grounded for me. And also the fact that, the challenges of growing up in Nigeria is very different from here. I grew up in a country that everybody's Black. So I really never had challenges about being different,
No,
being,
let me bring it again to
yes.
be confined, right?
Uh-huh.
Again, it's not about you or me. You were talking about an impact on others in our life. You see, I don't want you to go like loose in the issue. So just confine the issue. We are talking here how to relate to our youth and our born and raised here while we are not born and raised here. Am I right?
Yes.
So how can we do that? I said, logically, it's not impossible. Okay. Islamically, it's actually very possible. So what is the one thing, if you're going to say one thing, that is preventing us from connecting with this youth?
Oh, what is the one thing?
Yes.
It's probably delivering lectures in a way that's attractive to them, and also
so basically
personally for me is creating an avenue to have an interactive session.
Basically communication. Basically communication.
Yeah, communication.
The word is communication.
Yes.
We are different, and I cannot build the bridge that reaches to them. Simple, right?
Yes.
It's not simple. No. This is like putting it on the tracks. But you know what is my main enemy? Because I'm a very good communicator, by the way.
Alhamdulillah.
Right? But still I cannot reach. You know why?
Why?
Because I have not found yet the right element. I communicate with the youth, but only to a certain limit. Why I cannot reach? Because this culture, my biggest enemy is McDonald's. Do you know why I said McDonald's?
Why?
McDonald's, because it is a fast food principle. You go order, right? You feel that you are in control, that you order certain thing, and in 40 seconds, you have it in your hand and you are eating it. Okay? You are not worried about what kind of meat, what kind of potatoes, what kind of oil. You are not worried about any of that. You just want a meal in 40 seconds. Now, this becomes a McDonald's culture. He comes to me and I want to give him a lecture for half hour, not 1.5 hours like you, and they don't want to listen. Right? Tell me, how can I be a good Muslim and I go to Jannah? You have 40 seconds. I'm not saying the kids do that, but that's what they want. On the other side, they will play a game for 6 hours. You see the contradiction, the irony? You see the irony, right? So what is beneficial, I want it as fast as possible, regardless of the health repercussions, regardless of risks, regardless of any of that. I don't care. I just want that. So eating and health and all that, they are not priorities in my life. So akhirah and salah and all of that, they're not priorities in my life. Just give me something as quick as possible. But I can go and play basketball in a basketball court in the masjid for 3 hours in a row, right? And I will not stop. I will go on social media, I will not stop. I watch a movie, I will not stop. I stay with my friends, I will not stop. So McDonald's culture basically make all the beneficial things has to be done fast. And all the non-beneficial things is to stay like that. And that is completely an approach to subjugate a whole nation, to subjugate a whole population. This population empty from inside. So all the things that they spend time with will never benefit them in the dunya or akhirah as human beings. And all the things that will benefit them health-wise, educational-wise, mental-wise, psychological-wise, they don't want to even look at it. They want to do it as quick as possible. They don't want to sleep enough, even though it is beneficial. They don't want to exercise enough, even though it's beneficial. They don't want to eat good food, even though it's beneficial. They don't want to listen to a good lecture, even though it's beneficial. They don't want to pray because even though it's beneficial. So our problem is not information system. Our problem is a culture. So you have to, when the child is born, you are fighting against the whole culture and exposing them to it. So that's why I appreciate people who say that I'm going to do homeschooling. He's now changing the whole culture, right? They are changing the whole culture. I am going to take my son and do swimming, then soccer, then this and that. They are fighting the whole culture, I'm going to teach my children Salah. I'm going to take them to the masjid. They are fighting the whole culture. I'm going to do the Sunday school and make it like 5 hours instead of 3 hours. They're fighting the whole culture. I'm making this program, fighting the whole culture. So that's what we need to do. And it is a long run. It's a long-term plan. That's why I am mentoring you. I'm mentoring the youth. But if you expect I give you a pill that heal the issue in 1 or 2 lectures or 10 lectures, it's not going to happen. Wallahi, it's not going to happen. If this is your dream,
that.
it's not going to happen. But the whole idea is you have to. I start by controlling the diet, the nutrition at my house. You know, these are the things that will not enter the house. These are the things will not eat outside. These are the things that will do. I'm going to do my pantry like this. I'm going to do like that. And you kids, if you want a snack, you eat this way. And my little children, in the morning, you have to eat fruit and vegetables. And then after 2-3 hours, you're going to eat that. And I'm changing their culture. And instead of, you know, I'm wanting this and I'm wanting that. No, my nephews, some of my nephews, they don't consume sugar. They don't drink tea. They don't drink coffee. They exercise. They do things. And they live as primitive as they can. So this is the way that you bring someone who can affect 10 other people on their lifespan. But relating to someone and changing this, and our kids, inshallah, they're going to come flocking to the masjid, and you're dreaming. I'm sorry, yani, but try to instill in them a 10% change and enable them to bring 50% change in the generation after them, and they go like that. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who helps, you know. But that's why I'm saying go ahead and start teaching, start mentoring someone. Affect 5 people. Don't affect the whole generation, sister. Don't worry about the whole generation now. You are enough for me. I'm not gonna go give a lecture to 500 sisters. That's not my concern at all. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want 2,000 people to attend my lecture. I don't care. Right? Actually, this is harmful to me. I don't want that. I just want 10, 15 sisters to stay with me until I die, you know, like they are the ones that I'm teaching, and while they are teaching, they're improving. I am improving. They are improving. And the ones under them, they are improving. That's what I'm worried. Youth, I'm going to do 10, 15 of them. You know, general population, I'm going to do like 40 or 50 of them, stuff like that. I don't want to go more, but all of this we're going to learn, inshallah, in that still one course only that we suggested so far, the mentoring and coaching. So
and alhamdulillah, I'm glad you were able to highlight all those problems, which I understand and I acknowledge, and I agree with you. But I still feel like we should not give up on our youth.
No, we're not giving
Allah has blessed me with kids that are focused on the deen, and they're doing the best that they can. Inshallah, that they're able to impact the knowledge that they've gained to their own children. However, you know, like you said, I do a lot of mentoring, and for the sisters that are on the group, I've spoken to the Halaqas group a few times to try to encourage sisters. When you do learn, when you gain knowledge, it's very, very important that you pass those knowledge on to others, that you're not just gaining knowledge just for necessarily your own, even your nuclear family or yourself. So if that's the part that you feel like it's most important, to do mentorship and for the sisters that are on the group.
I don't want anybody to misunderstand me that I'm ignoring something for the sake of something. No, I am saying you focus on that problem more while you are doing the job that you're doing. Don't stop doing the work you're doing. You will always achieve something. You'll always achieve something. So work on the small project with youth, bring them to the masjid, prayer and all that, while the big picture, as Sister Rafida was saying, is that's the culture you are fighting against. It is not a case by case like we think. It's a bigger deal. So whenever I talk to somebody, I always put spirituality there. I always tell them, how's your exercise? How's your food? What kind of food you are eating? What are you doing this? What is your favorite sport? What is your favorite meal? You know, I kind of relate all what I just told you to the Islamic thing. I'm not just, Sheikh Mamdouh is not only to talk to me about Islam and the deen and Salah and all of that. No, Islam is much, much bigger subject. So it covers everything. So I might, in the whole session of mentorship, we are joking and talking about, like, you know, how the youth relate to each other, how they joke, what is the latest thing. They tell me what is the latest app, what is the latest stuff. I'm not talking to them at all about any religious subject, you know? And that actually builds the trust that the sheikh is not only a guy who will only talk to me about worship. you know. No, he's gonna talk to me all about other things. So inshallah, we move on. So I have one topic now. Sister Kulsum, would you please send a survey to the sisters, right? To suggest topics, suggest topics, either by either of the tracks. Like you say, I want to study Surah such and such, Hujurat, Surah Al-Kahf, Surah, one of the surahs that we can achieve in a few weeks, and see the subjects from there and analyze them. Or we want to study this section from Sahih al-Bukhari, the section of dua, the section of akhirah, the section of tafsir from Sahih al-Bukhari, something more specific like that. That is one way. Or you suggest to me a topic, youth in Islam, and their role in Islam and the challenges facing them, مثلا, something like that. Or you say how Islam addresses the subject of poverty, how Islam addresses grief, how Islam addresses gender relationship. That also can be a way, and we can get from the Quran and all of that. Also, we can have a course about stories from the past, So we pick a topic and we pick a story, like brotherhood, for the stories of brotherhood. Then we pick few stories that came in the Quran or the Sunnah about two brothers like Musa and Harun, alayhim salam, at the time of the Sahaba, hadith referring to brotherhood, something like that. I'm just giving you examples, by the way. So, I want to see each and everybody's idea, please. Yes.
So the one about stories, I really like that idea for a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like stories are like some of the best ways to learn, whether we're adults or children. We learn through stories and through learning the moral of the story. And secondly, because the kids, I've been practicing the mentoring on the kids. So whenever I hear a class, they're always interested. Yeah, they're always interested in what I'm reading or what I'm listening to, and they're just on, they want to know. So I use that as an opportunity. And because it's their uncle giving the class, they're even more interested in what you have to say. But I cannot have them listen because it's not, a lot of things are not age appropriate.
Right, age appropriate.
So I try to, after I take my notes, I try to make it more appropriate for their age and share what I can. And I've noticed as they were growing up, the stories were a big deal. So a lot of things they learn just through stories. And we try not to incorporate, the secular stories here because the moral is not strong. We have so much in Sirah and in Sahaba and everything. So if you do the stories, I think that would be amazing because as you're telling us, we should mentor and we should practice and teach. They're kind of my practice audience in everything almost. So it would be nice to do the class about the stories and to learn morals so that we could easily, relate it and teach it. It's easier, I feel, to teach and to learn.
I agree. So we can choose like a topic, and then we bring 3-4 stories from the past, like past nations and within the time of the Prophet and the times before us. Perfect. So we incorporate those kind of stories. There will be tens of stories, but we will choose like few main topics. Okay, so we'll talk about the trust, trusting each other, trust each other, and we'll talk about trust from before, from the time of the Prophet all the way until our time. We incorporate 5, 6, 7 stories like that, and the trust 2-3 lectures, and then we choose another topic, and again few more stories, and another topic like that. I think that would be very, very beneficial, and stories that the kids in their young age or the adults, they have like 50 stories in their head, right? So whenever they teach about truthfulness, they will find a couple of stories. When they want to teach about being good to the parents, they find few stories. When they be good with your neighbors, they find few stories. And it becomes amazing, because stories, psychologically, we as humans have zero resistance to stories.
Yep.
Zero resistance, because you want to know what's next, right? Yeah. So you stay curious. And while you are saying the story, you kind of insert your teachings, right? When you say the story and he said he did this like you do with your sister, right? Like, remember what day, and then you continue the story, you know? So it becomes like, and 1/3 of the Quran are stories, as you know. So it's amazing. And in story, you have zero mental resistance, because always, whenever you talk about anything, a fact, I mean, anything of your opinion, it becomes a, you know, challenge, teachings and all of that. Then mentally, the person in front of you wants to challenge it, you know, wants to challenge if you are right or wrong, you know, seeing the flaws, have a filter. But when you say the story, they don't have that. It's hands down. I want to know what's next, and then what happened, and then what happened. So basically, storytelling is amazing. So we
like
have the coaching and mentorship with case studies and big picture and all of that. Then we have stories from the past, stories and morals. We can call it stories and morals, or you know, come up with a catchy subject. What else? Give me another topic.
Okay.
Yes.
Looking at the topics that we have done for the last 2-3 years, I think we are lacking on the topic of mu'amalat, like
Mu'amalat.
transactions, and then riba that we always encounter nowadays.
يعني mu'amalat, transactions.
Yeah.
Are you talking about transactions like money transactions, financial transactions?
Yeah, buying and selling.
But are you businesswomen here?
No, sometimes we have to, to buy the car.
You know, we have to talk about relevant things. Like, you know, it's easy to go and ask a sheikh about, is this riba or not? He will answer you. But to study a fiqh class about business transactions, you're going to all sleep.
So that's the topic that we have to encounter, like insurance, things like that. We have to face.
Okay,
that
fine.
related to our everyday.
Like we can talk about like relevant transactions.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, we can host Sheikh Salah Sawi. We can host some other scholar to also share with us. If they know English, they can give it in English. I'll host them. And if they don't know English, I'll translate for them. But I can host people in the class. Yani, this coming year, I don't want to be each and every class I'm doing. I can host people and extract knowledge out of them as well for your benefit and for my benefit as well. Would that be a good idea for you?
I think that's good. But my other concern is that some new sisters who just joined, they might not be interested in the topic or the approach of the class. So they might not.
Well, that's Sister Kalsoom. That's why every time we do a new course, we kind of make a new registration for it and see who is interested. Everybody does not have to attend everything.
Okay.
I want the Wednesday to be more of the intake class that everybody can benefit from everything, and the advanced will benefit in an advanced way. You're not going to benefit from the whole lecture the same way. There are a few things that someone can process, and a few other things only certain people can process, and that's how I incorporate my lecture into my lecture, you know. And then we may have once a month, like a 2-hour session, just for advanced students.
So do you want to do like a workshop approach?
Yeah, every month we can have like the Wednesday class extended, like 1 hour before we start the class, or 1 hour after. We make the class 1 hour only, and 1 hour before, 1 hour after for the advanced students. And that 1 hour you can attend as well, you'll benefit. But one more class for advanced, like for those who have a certain amount of knowledge, they listen to all the lectures, they kind of have been studying, and they are like mature enough in knowledge that they can attend, you know, 1 hour for Q&A, you know, we're picking each other's mind, stuff like that.
Okay.
All this we can sit and meet Sister Kalsoom and build the curriculum together. So please, instead of wasting the lecture on that, it's not a waste, but instead of spending the lecture on that, so I'd appreciate it of each and every one of you this week, inshallah, please come up with, and we have until, you know, the end of this month, because in December, I want to announce, you know, in the graduation, mid-December, I want to announce the next year's class, and we open registration. So we have all the courses for the whole year, and then you choose the courses that you want to attend. So this way it becomes easy for the certification later. Okay, Sister Kalsoom. So, inshallah, make an appointment
Inshallah.
and we can meet on Zoom. All right. You, myself, and you pick another sister that will help with the curriculum. Pick your team, pick up your team, 1 or 2 sisters, and I'll meet with you on Zoom, inshallah, this weekend maybe. And we go over the topics, or the following weekend, if the sisters want, until the end of November to come up with topics. And then the first week of December, we finalize the curriculum, inshallah.
Okay, I would like to know who would like to volunteer to help me with the curriculum. If any of the sisters here would like to.
If nobody volunteers, I'll pick.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Kalsoom. I'll be glad to volunteer and work with you on this, because I am really, truly passionate about being inclusive and getting a lot of our younger generation, especially the upcoming mothers, to learn more about the deen, because they're going to be impacting the future generations on and on and on.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Sister Kalsoom, Sister Noura, and we'll have Sister Maimuna as well join. I'm sorry, I put you.
Did I just get drafted?
Yes, you got picked. Because I know you're going to balance that. I know Sister Kalsoom have a certain approach and background. Sister Noura have a certain approach and background, and your approach and background will complete this trio, inshallah.
Oh, Shane, you already know each one of us. You already know our character.
I do. I know each one how you think and how you approach things. So I always need a wholesome, inclusive, approach to everybody, inshallah. So 3 of you, inshallah, will be helping. I'll be helping you, and you'll be helping me with setting up the topics and the curriculum for next year. Once we do that and we announce the program, then we have to have few meetings, and I'm not exaggerating, few meetings before January to talk about the strategy, the format of the class, who's going to record the class, then Sister City will join. Do we need PowerPoint or not? Do we need handouts or not? Who's going to summarize the class? I really wanted to become professional signature. So anybody comes after us, they have a system. So Sheikh Mamdouh, Sister Kalsoom, Sister Siti, Sister Maimuna, Sister Noura, they are not the program, but there is a system that if they are not there, somebody else can come and drive. Make sense? All right. I have to go because I have an appointment at 2 o'clock. So Jazakumullah khairan. May Allah reward you all. I'm proud of all of you. Very excited about the graduation on December 18. Please go listen to all the lectures, or most of them. Give a list of what you've done with Sister Kalsoom. If you have a question, or you can write me an email that I listened to such and such lecture and I benefited such and such from it. A small 4-line, 5-line paragraph about each course, that would be more than suffice for me. All right? More than suffice for me. More than suffice for me is to say I listened to the signs of the Day of Judgment and I benefited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences, 1 paragraph, or record a voice note and send it to me. And I will be very, very happy to hear that. And I will consider that you completed that class. Right? وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.